so that it can have a full outer shell underneath it. Okay, so explain why, in terms of electrolyte structure, why elements in group 1 are more reactive than elements in group 0. Because so things are only reactive in order to get a full outer shell. If they have a full outer shell, why the hell will they need to be reactive? It's like going to work when you're a millionaire. There's no point. So then what's going to be happening is group 1 and group 1 is more reactive because so group 0 is less reactive because it has a full outer shell. So it has a full outer shell, okay, and while group 1 has 1 electron in its outer shell, while group 1 has 1 electron in its outer shell. Okay. And so then we have question 20. Question 20, the diagrams show that the electrolysis of copper sulfate solution is CuSO4. In both experiments, copper is deposited at the cathode. Describe the difference between the electrolysis of copper sulfate solution using inert graphite electrodes and non-inert copper electrodes. Okay, so you have inert graphite electrodes and non-inert copper electrodes. Okay, so what is the differences between these two things? Now, inert means that they can basically non-inert means that they are not away from the reaction. So inert means it does not participate in the reaction. Non-inert means it will participate in the reaction. I know, very convoluted way of saying it likes to meddle in the fight. So what's going to be happening in non-inert? For example, non-inert electrons are copper, and they're in a copper sulfate solution. That copper from the anode will be sent out into the electrolyte, and it will go and it will be deposited at the cathode, because the cathode's absorbing. The cathode is basically attracting all of the copper. And so then the cathode is going to have a big mass of copper. While non-inert graphite electrodes wouldn't do that, you'd have the normal reaction where you'd see a bunch of copper on the cathode, and then still the anode in its normal shape, and it's going to have things that attract to the anode at the anode. And so that's the main difference between them. If I'm going to write an answer, what I'd say is copper anode is decreased in mass. Graphite anode does not decrease in mass. Does that make sense? Perfect. So then, question B. A student is investigating the electrolysis of the sodium chloride solution. Hydrogen gas is formed at the cathode. Write the balanced half equation for this reaction. Use E minus to represent the electrode. So whenever it's something that's a balanced half equation, remember when anything's ever going to be impacting hydrogen gas, it will always be 2H plus, because remember it's not ionic, it's half. So it's what? How does the electron react with the atom? So you're gonna have 2H plus 2E minus, because if each H plus loses an electron, that means that's going to be 1 electron sent out. If you add an electron to it, there's 2 of them. If you add 2 electrons to them, then that means that they're going to become they're going to have 1 electron in the outer shell again, which makes them an atom, not an ion anymore, and that's how you get H2. If it was helium, it would be He. Okay. State the name of the substance made at the anode. So the substance made at the anode is going to be chlorine, because chlorine is negative, and chlorine ions are negative, and so they'll be attracted to the positive anode. Remember,